Hi, it's me. So today we're going to make the letter O, and these are all the pieces that come with the cut file that I used. So when I get all the pieces that are coming out of my machine, I first like to lay everything down around the letter so that I know in general where they're going to go. This is the center of the O, and for some reason my white pen decided to give out, so there's no square there, but I'll draw it in later. So here are the pieces, and I am just going to begin by taking my little scraping tool, and I'm going to use it to help me fold all of the creases in each one of those pieces. That rhymes, and that's cool. So I'm going to do it with this little piece right here just to show you what I mean. I'm just folding along the score lines. If you have a scoring stylus and you don't have a scoring wheel, you know that that scoring stylus doesn't get very deep in certain types of paper. So in this case, this is 105-pound cover cardstock, and that scraping tool really helps get those creases. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest. So here are the other pieces, and now that they're laid out and curved to the way where they're going to be, I am going to get started, and I'm going to glue everything. So this piece, I'm going to glue it first. I'm going to start by moving the pieces out of the way. Then I'm going to grab my favorite Oohoo glue and a makeshift brush that is basically just paper. So I'm going to show you what not to do when gluing the centerpiece, and then I'm going to show you the right thing. So I accidentally put the glue on that tab right there when really it should have been on the bottom. So no on the top, yes on the bottom, and that's because this is the inner loop of the O, and I really like to start there, and that way when you put the glue tabs inside, you see that the inside is going to be visible. We don't want to see the glue tabs. So I just started with the bottom piece so that I could let the top part dry before applying on the glue. So I'm putting a little bit of glue there towards the inner edge, and then now I am holding it all together like this. So there it is, and now I'm going to put glue on the glue tabs that you see in here. I used to think that I had to put glue all up to the very end of that tab, but you really don't need to, and that's because glue spreads. And also, if the tab is big enough like it is right here, it will hold on just fine. So the outer edge is good, and once you get the glue there, you can place it around that loop. I keep calling it a loop, but it's really a rectangle. So we like to flip it over. I like to flip it over and align up the creases with the inner O area right there as best I can, because when paper folds, it gets a little bit thicker, so it's not going to be completely perfect, but you can get it looking good. So right here is the first piece. There is one little O there on the left, and I like to start by gluing the center glue tab to the top of the O. Now, the first piece always sets the tone for how everything else is going to lay, so I usually take a little bit more time when I'm placing this down and make sure that that crease is just above the back of the O, or the edge of the O, like it is right there. So then you go ahead and put glue on the other tabs like so, and notice there's not a whole lot of glue, just enough, and then you stick it down. And the reason why I like working with glue so much is because it doesn't dry right away. It gives you a little bit of time to wiggle it around. So here I'm just wiggling it around before the glue actually sets. So it doesn't take too long to set, but it gives me enough time to wiggle. So this is the second piece for the outer edge, and if you notice that one little glue tab is so small, it's because I tried to save paper and I overlapped it and it kind of chopped it in half. Anyways, so when I'm attaching the edge pieces together, I like to start off by attaching each edge to each other by using the glue tab that is provided. And when you do this, you kind of follow the same process where the edge of it falls just below the crease. And in this case, that crease is going to be that corner of the O. So yes. Once that piece is nice and set, you can move on to adding glue to the glue tab. So since this is a tinier glue tab, it was more important for me to get glue closer to the edge, as you can see here, but it's still not exactly on the edge. And that's done on purpose because glue spreads, and it also gives me space to wiggle the glue tab around a little bit to get it where I like it. So now I'm just proceeding to go all the way around the edges. So I'm attaching the edge pieces together using their edges, using their ends, and then I'm going to go around and put the glue tab. So I kind of sped this part of the video up, but I think you get the point by now. You just kind of go in a circle. And while I was doing the bottom of the O, I got ambitious and just put glue all the way around it, and I wiggled it around later. So play around with it and see how you feel comfortable, especially if you're working with a glue that you've worked with all the time and you know how quickly it sets and how to work with it. And this is the last piece. And on this piece, I always get a little bit scared for some reason that it's not going to connect with the very first piece. So there's the glue, and there it is. I'm putting inside there and I'm pressing it to make sure that it adheres. And then I'm also praying that the edges meet, and they do. So when you're gluing the very final glue tip of the edge, it's best to use a little brush, or in my case, a makeshift brush with paper, and then you can stick them together. So this piece, if you look really closely, it's about like a millimeter off, but it's still fine. I am using these little filler beads to weigh down the bottom of the O. That way when it's sitting on a flat surface, it will be more sturdy and not prone to being knocked over. I've seen people use wooden blocks, pennies, or just anything with a little bit of weight. At one point, I was just using rolls of scrap paper. So just use what you have around that has a little bit of weight to it, and it will help your letters stand up on their own. So once the glue is set, and I'm checking them out right there, once everything is set for those little bead pieces, I'm ready to work on the cover. And I like to take all the glue tabs and face them up so that when I put the glue around it, the cover will push into the glue. So let me show you what I mean. So all those tabs are now facing up, and I look like I am globbing glue on top of it. And that's because it takes me personally a long time to put the cover there and line everything up just right. So the extra glue gives me a little bit more time to wiggle things around. And so here's the O, and I'm placing it on top. And since all of those glue tabs were lifted up, I'm able to just push down onto it, and then it will attach. So here I am adjusting the tops of the top of the O and the sides of the O so that they line up together and it looks as clean as it can be. So be very gentle when you're pressing down so that you don't crease your cardstock. I know some cardstock shows the creases more than others. This one's a little bit more sturdy, but if I press too hard, you will definitely see the crease because it's a pearlescent cardstock. So yeah, just be careful when you're pressing down on there, and I assure you it will eventually be done and you will be good to go to start decorating it. So this one right here has a purple inset with a green inset inside that purple one, and then I have a little bat and a spider web that you're going to see me glued down right here. And this was a part of my 3D letter boo decorations. And this is the other O for my boo decorations, and this is a skeleton. So yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below, and any information on the templates and stuff will be in the description. Take care.